Czechoslovak Socialist Republic, Prague, 1968. This film was begun in early August. Czechoslovakia was entering the 8th month of the Renaissance of socialism. We thought we were going to make a film about a happy and a free country. The film was finished. It is not our fault that it has turned out different from what we had intended, but we're beginning at the end. Monument of John Hus, the Czech preacher who was burned in the 15th century because he would not give up his convictions. In the month of August 1968, the old town square became the center of demonstrations and discussions, the result of the spontaneous interest of the citizens in the destiny of their country. For the first time in 20 years, nobody here tried to suppress freedom of speech. People gave their opinion openly and excitedly, and ceased to fear the police, no longer the instrument of political power. These people assembled after the talks in Chiana and Bratislava. There was general dissatisfaction with the text of the official communiques, the wording of which reminded one too closely of the sterile language of the Stalinist period. First secretary of the Central Committee of the Czechoslovak Communist Party, Alexander Dubček, has become the symbol of the honest statesman, and not only for Czechs and Slovaks. First Sunday in August, we met in the streets of Prague a young American who has been walking around Europe for 8 years and singing of peace and friendship. In his song, there is a verse on Dubček, because Dubček is probably the first communist statesman since the days of Lenin who has gained people's respect and confidence by the honesty of his dealing and of his thinking.
Deep in my heart, we shall overcome someday. We shall not live in fear. We shall not live in fear. We shall not.
One bishop of Slovakia declared during his appearance on television before the departure of the Czechoslovak delegation to Chiana that he would pray for the health of Dubček. The Church of St. Nicholas in Prague. The priest who was saying Mass spent 8 years in jail as a victim of political persecution. It is only recently that he has been able to return to his calling.
Kalich mé krve, smlouvy nové a věčné, tajemství víry, krev, která se prolévá za vás a za mnohé na odpuštění hříchů. Kdykoliv to budete konat, na mou památku to vykonáte.
That Sunday in August, he did not preach only of Jesus Christ, but also of the humanistic values of socialism. When filming the first national gathering of Czechoslovak hippies, none of us had an idea that these young people, considered everywhere as the dregs of society, would, in a very few days, devote all their energies and even risk their lives in defending the independence of their country. Unlike their Western counterparts, the Czechoslovak hippies work or study on weekdays. During their national gathering, they spent one morning working in the fields. In the afternoon, they met in a cinema in order to sing their songs to the local people and to explain the philosophy of their movement to them. Not war, but love and friendship. And the local grannies agreed with them. Prague has always been the meeting place of people of widely different convictions and faith. Many centuries ago, this was a famous center of Jewish culture. Prague always was, is, and will be proud of the fact that among the lecturers at its universities were people like Albert Einstein, Sigmund Freud, and that it was the birthplace of Franz Kafka. Prague will never forget the sufferings of its Jewish citizens who died in the Nazi concentration camps. $70,000 of their names are engraved forever on the walls of the old synagogue. The Jewish cemetery, one of the oldest in Europe. This is the vault of the Oppenheimer family, the relatives of the father of the atom bomb. On that warm August afternoon, the old Jewish cemetery was the abode of peace and quiet. Every nation has its old customs and traditions, its songs and its associations, even if these have lost their primitive meaning. These people in national costume are called the Badeșnici. Their association sprung up a century ago in order to defend the Czech national character in the face of Austrian monarchy. For the past 20 years, it has just barely existed, and only this August has it become active again. $15,000 of its members appeared in Prague in national costume, accompanied by village bands. The representatives of the association placed a wreath on the tomb of the unknown soldier and then marched through Prague in a triumphal procession. We watched them with a smile and wondered how they had managed to keep their costumes in their closets for 20 years. Spring 1968 saw the last political prisoners leaving the Czech prisons. For the first time in 20 years, nobody was kept in jail for his political convictions or for not agreeing with those in power. Only people condemned for criminal offenses remained in jail. But the events after January changed even their lives. The severe press campaign condemning conditions in jails resulted in a number of guards being fired and new conditions instituted. Some groups no longer needed guards. All were paid for their work. Journalists, people from television, and members of parliament began to visit prisons which had up to then been plunged into mystery and silence in order to make a public survey of them. When the Warsaw Pact troops invaded Czechoslovakia, the occupation armies tried to use the prisons for provocation, and they opened them. To the astonishment of the invaders, the prisoners refused freedom thrust upon them and stayed in the prisons. This year, people began to talk openly once more of the American part in the liberation of Czechoslovakia in May 1945. This chapter of our history had been passed over for a long time. The monument for the fallen American soldiers set up near Cheb was untended for a long time. This year, on the anniversary of the liberation, President Ludvík Svoboda visited this spot and placed flowers there. The American soldiers did not leave only names engraved in stone. Do you know who was singing this song? Sally Selling, a popular 22-year-old singer whose father was an American Negro who came to Czechoslovakia in 1945 with General Patton's troops. We heard the songs of Sally Selling even in the high school club in Bratislava, the capital of Slovakia. It was Saturday, the 17th of August, the last Saturday when people still danced with a light heart in Czechoslovakia. We visited the Slovak students in order to film them while they were having fun. We did not think it necessary then to insist on the fact that for the whole last year they had been an active and dignified element of the process of democratization and that their contribution to it had been valued greatly. Karlovy Vary, the world-famous baths, a town of festivals and of bohemian crystal. Goethe, Marx, Schiller used to come here. In the spring of this year, Kosygin came here for a rest. 24 hours before we started filming this fashion show, the East German leader Walter Ulbricht left Karlovy Vary. As a parting message, he assured Alexander Dubček and all the Czechoslovak people of his friendship and that of the Eastern Germans. attention of the political activity of August is growing. The chairman of the Prague Party Organization, Šimon, explains the position of the party leaders in the talks at Černá and Bratislava. The principal Czech representatives are returning from Bratislava. The one with glasses is Česmír Čízar. With him Zdeněk Mlynář, two important persons in the new order. Oldřich Černík, Prime Minister, returning from the Bratislava talks. Czechoslovak Air Force No. 1, Alexander Dubček's return from Bratislava. He came back a day later, unannounced. No journalist, politician, or guard. Our camera was the only witness of his optimism, his faith in the friendship of socialist countries. On the 15th of August, 1968, the Romanian delegation of government and party members arrived in Prague. The official welcome, Alexander Dubček and Ludvík Svoboda heading the Czech side. On the 15th of August, nobody ever thought that this would be the last free official ceremony of the representatives of the Czech Republic. The President of Parliament, Joseph Smirkovsky, danced with the Berečíčny after the negotiations in Černá and in Bratislava. He convinced the citizens with whom he is popular as a representative that disagreements between socialist countries are like family squabbles which end in reconciliation and mutual love. On this sunny August Sunday, the whole nation probably believed it. We asked several people in that month of August 1968, what is their greatest wish? A young woman, that the beautiful national spring doesn't end too soon, that I may be able to bring up my sons in its spirit. An old woman, that I get back my apartment, which was unlawfully taken away from me 2 years ago. A hippie, the most important thing is love, war is crap. A well-known football player wishes for friendship, not only among sportsmen. A young girl wants to travel all around the world. And her boyfriend wants to finish his studies successfully and find a good job. Alexander Dubček, after his return from Bratislava, said to us, let's hope that all of us will be successful in our work. On the morning of the 21st of August, we went out to film our last scenes. The filmmakers whom you see here were not the only ones to be shocked. Soviet tanks were thundering through the streets. The Czech government and the Central Committee of the Communist Party of Czechoslovakia issued a proclamation condemning the invasion of Czechoslovakia as a crime against the fundamental rights of man. the Soviet tanks went on occupying the town. But this time it was not like 1945. Nobody gave them a welcome. Alexander Dubček and some members of the Central Committee of the Communist Party were in this building. They were already prisoners. The building was guarded on all sides. This is the blood of the first Czech who was killed in Prague. A group of young patriots with the national flag stained with the blood of one of their comrades. The last place to be occupied was the building of the Czechoslovak radio. This was where the uprising of the people of Prague against the Nazis had begun in May 1945. It was here that masses of people gathered on August the 21st, 1968, to oppose unarmed the passage of the tanks. The first group of airborne tanks did not manage to break through the crowd and turned away. Not all the Russian vehicles were without markings. This one has a number, 0432MC. For the first time since the beginning of our filming, we were prevented from going on. Why doesn't this soldier want us to photograph him? All these scenes were made with those who started this film on the heady days of democratization. This Russian tried to hide his face. The arrival of the infantry. We had the unexpected luck of being able to make a real war film. The national flag against the tanks. An old lady faces up to the tanks with the portrait of President Svoboda. When we deal with history, we often ask ourselves the question, who is responsible? This officer in a leather coat is responsible for the shooting in front of the radio building. He ordered them to shoot at our cameramen. He is responsible for the people killed, whose blood is on the pavement. Whose bodies were taken inside. In their unarmed resistance, the Czechs set fire to several tanks and trucks. strange ceremony. Tanks breaching the barricades. Before noon of the 21st of August, Prague was occupied. But for the Czechs, it was necessary to continue defending the new freedoms. They wrote posters in Russian. They tried to explain the truth to the Soviet soldiers. They printed and published newspapers and posters. The Allied armies of the Warsaw Pact dug in their heels. The Czechs and the Slovaks did not use weapons. They had only reason and humor on their side. Sent a message to the commander-in-chief of the Soviet troops in Prague, General Pavlovsky. They spelled it out as if speaking to children. They said, 1 times 0 equals 0. 10 times 0 equals 0. This Soviet soldier is reading in secret a forbidden Czech newspaper. Maybe something will get through to him. And they buried their dead. This is where the mother of a little child was killed. The memorial of Saint Wenceslas with the inscriptions Dubček and Svoboda. Prague with pictures of these valiant men. The unity of all the Czechs and Slovaks in an effort to save the dream of a human socialism. All this gives us, the authors of this film, a hope that one day we will meet in the free streets of Prague. Boys and girls who make love, not war. All this gives us the hope that the destiny of Czechoslovakia will not be sacrificed for the second time in this century to indifference and forgetfulness.